Okay, it's John Black, JBSC. Like I was saying in the last video, it's plausible for them to say that, hey, all mutations do happen except for this one instance where it comes to gender. There is no spectrum. You're either, there's no spectrum. There's women, men, and intersex. That's it, okay? Uh, that would be, it's wrong, but it's plausible at least. But to say that God does not make mistakes, and that, if God does not make mistakes and only makes male and female, then how do you explain the intersexed? That proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are lying when you say that God only makes males and females, because that's not true. We know that's not true. We have incontrovertible evidence. We have people who've taken their DNA and they have XX of Y chromosomes. They have XXYY chromosomes. They have, you know what I mean? They are not men. They are not women. They are something in between, or different. You could say a different sex. Yeah. But let me see if I messed up. Okay. So that proves that they are just the biggest liars in the world, okay? And I want you to think about it, okay? And I want you to think about it. There's no spectrum. Oh, wait, we're on no non-binary. Okay, so we're past the transsexuals. We're talking about non-binaries and what they are, okay? Here I'm going to show you a little chart. Okay, you got male on one side, you got female on the other side. In the middle, then you got your intersexed. And what's that say on there? Oh, and then you got your brain cord thickness. Might be, over here it's thin where it's male. Over here it's thick. But as it goes this way, it gets more thin. As it goes this way, it gets more thick. And that's where your non-binaries come into, because they might be in between. They have a cord that's this thick. It's not as thin as the male, but it's not as thick as the woman. So they're kind of in between, you know what I mean? And that's what a non-binary person is. It could be someone who is, could be someone who has no gender at all, or they just feel totally genderless, or it could be that they feel that they are both genders. Sometimes they feel more like the one gender, and sometimes they feel like the other, but overall, they are both genders. They feel like that if they could put themselves in a body, they would probably choose to put it in a hermaphrodite body. So you could think of them as the intersexed transsexuals. You know what I mean? They're not in the right body, and they just feel like both genders. You know what I mean? That's why they're not non-binary. It's not one or the other. Binary is two. You know what I mean? They're opposites, like 0 and 1, on and off. You know what I mean? Up and down. And I wanted to show you by this chart by the different degrees of, things. Like you have on this side, a cross-dresser. That's more like a fetish. Okay, that's when you have a fetish and it gets you sexually stimulated when you dress. Then you're a cross-dresser. Then at the other end, you got the transsexual, the pure transsexual, who is all the way transsexual, 100%. And anyone in between is transgendered. And some people include the non-binary people, or just the different degrees of transsexualism. But, I don't want that stuff. Okay. I switched over I switched over to whatever's. But anyways, wait. Okay, can you name any biology that is not in a spectrum? Okay, can you name one? Just one. Like, I'll give you examples. Tall and short. You have a big spectrum. It's not just one or the other. You got a whole spectrum of height. Same with arms. You can have 0, 1, 2, 3 arms. Same with heart, legs. How about running? How about athleticism? You have from fast to slow. You know, you can lift up things. You've got people that lift heavy things. It's not just heavy things, and these people lift up light things. There's a whole spectrum. How about, let's move over to intelligence. There's a spectrum there. You get down all the way up to super smart. Sexuality, you got straight to gay. It's a spectrum. How about ice cream? How about things you like to eat? Isn't there a spectrum of some people that like it, love it, all the way down to people that hate it? And it's a whole spectrum in between. Same with eating cheese. How about Mountain Dew? Same thing. How about activities? How about like going to the gym or pool table, playing pool on a pool table, or video games? Isn't there a spectrum of whether you like it or don't like it? How about like murder, torture, even that? Isn't there a spectrum? You got serial killers that get off on it. You got, most of us, don't, but there's a spectrum. You know what I mean? It's not one or the other. It's a spectrum that builds up to serial killer. Same with clothes. Your taste in clothes, your taste in shoes, furniture, bacon, cake, and peanut butter. My youngest kid doesn't like bacon, believe it or not. Yeah, you'd think everyone likes bacon. No, there's a spectrum. Same way with cake. I had a kid that that was my youngest kid, and my oldest kid he don't like cake or cookies really that much. And then I don't know who it is, but somebody doesn't like peanut butter. I think that's my youngest again. There's always a spectrum. Always. My question to you, if you don't believe anything I'm saying, can you please name one thing in biology where there is not a spectrum like there is in genderism? Like, if you don't believe there's more than two genders, it's by whatever. It's binary. It's not the spectrum. Can you please name one other thing in biology where there's no spectrum? Because all I see is spectrums, whether it's coming to physical attributes, or it's coming to athletic abilities, or whether it's intelligence, sexuality, or things you like to eat, or even activities that you like to do or not. I can't think of anything that isn't a spectrum. But of course, according to the Christians, there's one. Transsexualism or genderism or whatever. There's only two genders according to them. There's no spectrum. None. And I know this. Even though you cannot name one. I would love a Christian to tell me one freaking goddamn example to prove me wrong, that it's not, And we could say, oh, well, just because all of them, are one way, doesn't mean that there can always be an exception to the rule. But they also say that, well, the Bible says that God, he only makes two genders. There's only two genders. But we know for a fact that there's more than two genders. There's more than male and female. Okay, we know that because we have doctors and they did tests. And we know it. I mean, is there in doctor books? Come on, they're common knowledge. So how do you explain that? Like, if you're not agreeing with me, how are you explaining that fact? Okay, so I got into those names. Transgender is basically just a generic name for everybody. Like I said, transsexual would be like like I said, our examples are always with a man who's trying to be a woman, right? So a pure transsexual, like the purest of the pure, would be that child that is, 3, 4 years old, and they're telling their parents and everybody else that they are a girl. Not only are they trying to dress like girls, try to play like girls, and act like girls, they're saying outright, I am a girl. And if you, as a parent, tell them, you're not a girl, quit acting like that, take that dress off, they will get mad. They will argue. They will, and I mean, I'm talking like real mad, like not just they're mad because they can't play with the ball that you told them to. I'm talking like you're chopping their arms off or something, man. They're crying and whatever. And then they'll be very forceful about it, that they are goddamn girls. And I don't care what you say, I will never change my mind. You know what I mean? This is at like 3, 4 years old, man. Okay. Usually when they get older and they're puberty and that, they have fantasies and desires about chopping off their penis, whether it's with a knife or scissors. I mean, that's how much they are against being male. You know what I mean? This is the most severe case of gender dysphoria. You know what I mean? That there is nothing that is going to stop them in the way, getting in their way of trying to be female and live as female and act as female and whatever, you know what I mean? Nothing. And it starts at the very, and they never waver. And even if they got the parents that are the most prejudiced people in the world against transsexuals, they will still say, screw you, buddy. I'm a transsexual. They won't use that word, but they will say, I'm a girl. And screw you. Now, why am I saying that? Bringing up that what a pure transsexual is because I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But let's go to this. It used to be before this craziness, like say 40 years ago, you had to go to a psychologist for therapy for like 2 years or something to get on hormone therapy or blockers, and you got to be older than 18. You had to be 18 years of age. And then you had to live as a woman too for those 2 years that you were seeing your psychologist, you know what I mean? And then you could get, maybe then you can get hormones. And then like to get SRS, sex reassignment surgery, you'd have to, and I don't really know the exact number for this one, I'm just guessing on this one, but you had to live as a woman for like 5 years. I'm just guessing on that one. But I mean, if they're making you 2 years, you got to live as a woman to get hormones. I'm sure they want more for the sex surgery. You know what I mean? It was a drawn out, inexpensive procedure. You know what I mean? It took a long time, took a lot of money to transition, and you had to wait till you were 18 to do it, or at least with medical resources. But they told all the side effects to the transitioning person. You know what I mean? Like, this could happen to you. These hormone therapy and that shortens your life. You're going to have a lot of problems with your liver and other organs, earlier in life than you would have normally. And you're definitely going to die earlier. I'm not saying you're going to die 40 years earlier, but I mean, you're definitely going to die earlier. You know what I mean? Especially the younger you transition. Because if you do these puberty blockers and all this other stuff, as a 12-year-old, you're really going to be, you might die at 40. But that's the way it used to be. Oh, geez.